Kelece Dalton, and today I will be giving a speech on my mother, and it is entitled, All That I Have Overcome. All that I have overcome. I have a story to tell. My mother would always say to us, God has something for me to do. In 1999, my last sister was born. Not knowing that this would be my mother's last child. She had 5 children, all girls, so she wanted a boy really bad. I'm sure she wanted to try again. I even asked her one day, how many children did you want growing up? And she smiled at me, and she told me 6. Well, she was well on her way. But she didn't have the boy she wanted. And in 1999, after the birth of my little sister, my mom got very sick and could not walk. Her leg had swollen 3 times the size, and they had to do emergency surgery on her to remove her left leg at the groin. The doctor said that she had total blockage from her liver down to her toes. And my father did not want them to give her the surgery, and he didn't give them permission to. So he told them to send her to Wake Forest Baptist Hospital. And they did just that. And with a smile on her face, she told us goodbye. She was then airlifted to the hospital, unsure of what to expect the next time we saw my mom. We all went to the hospital with her. And the doctor said that they were doing everything that they could to save her legs. We all prayed in the waiting room. Then we got to see her, and she had a smile on her face and told us that it was going to be all right. My mom stayed in the hospital for 40 days, and then she was finally ready to come home. And we were so happy to have her home. She came home in a wheelchair, and after a few days, she began to walk a little, and on the 7th day, it was time for her checkup. The doctors discovered another blockage. It was a blood clot in her right leg and had set up like cement. And she once again was admitted to the hospital. This time she was there for 30 days. And the entire time she was in the hospital, we stayed with my grandmother, a.k.a. Granny. And my mother's cousin had taken my little sister until my mother could care for her again. After a long recovery, my mother could finally walk without assistance. And my granny finally got to take her home. And she told us that she had a blood disease that made her blood clot. Everything was getting back to normal. In 2001, my mom had her first heart attack. She was only 34 years old. And she never wanted anybody to worry about her. She told my dad not even to tell us until after my little cousin's baby shower. And it was shocking to hear that. She had helped plan the whole shower and was getting everything ready for it. And she said the reason for her not wanting to tell anybody is that she didn't want to spoil the baby shower. She always wanted to spare everyone from the pain. She was in the hospital that time for 10 days. And after this scare, we tried to watch her very carefully. She was doing good, adjusting to her new lifestyle, calmness, and we all thought that the worst was over. She seemed to be doing fine. She was always running for us. She did not miss anybody's school activities, not even a school play. We always counted on her to be there for everything. And 2 years later, my mother had yet another heart attack. Now we were older and understood life a little better. We knew what kind of toll these heart attacks were taking on her body. The doctors explained that they had to do a heart cath on her to see if these heart attacks had damaged her heart, or to what extent. They took her down and told my daddy that it was nothing serious and that it wouldn't take long. The next thing we knew, the doctors were telling us that my mother's heart had stopped and they had to revive her. Later we found out that she was allergic to the contrast dye. The doctors reported that there was no damage to her heart whatsoever. In 2004, my mom almost hemorrhaged to death. Her blood count dropped from 11 to 4, and we thought she was surely gone. But my mother is a fighter, and she has to fight of her to live, fight of her life to bring blood count back where she was no longer in danger. She stayed in the hospital for 21 days, and her blood count came up to 7, and they finally let her come home. Although my mother is still dealing with health problems, she is still alive and well. And one thing that I commemorate her for is her strong will and determination. She keeps a smile on her face. So some people walk around today mad at the world for no reason. And all the things that she has been through, she still has a positive outlook on life. And with that being said, I commemorate my mother for overcoming life-threatening obstacles and still being able to make the most out of life. Thank you for your time.